Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Anchor Presents What Youth Thinks with Ankit. I am your host Ankit Gandhidas. Today we have with us our very special first panelist, Ms. Shomili Dasgupta, grad student of Jadavpur University, Department of Comparative Literature. Shomili, welcome to our show.
Hi, thank you for having me here. I am actually very pleased to be here with you, and thanks to you because you are doing something very amazing, which is bringing out our voice, the voice of the youth. So, yeah, many thanks to you. And the
Thank you
topic,
so much, Shomili.
you're welcome. The topic for today is online exams or not, a topic very, very, very relevant to us at this moment. And, I think that since online exams is something that involves us, the students, so having our voice heard is something really crucial and which the present government or the authorities are not doing right now. We are the stakeholders, so our voice needs to be heard, right?
Exactly. Without wasting any time, let's start. What's your view on online exams in universities?
The first thing that I want to mention is it is very difficult to hold on to a particular view at this moment, because when our colleges and universities closed in the month of March, we all thought that this is going to be for like 1 month, 1.5 months, and then everything is going to
Mhm.
be fine. But then, as we saw the number of cases rose, and then our chances of getting back to universities and colleges anytime soon depreciated considerably. So my views then and my views now are different, and I'm sure they're going to be different in the next 2 months, because we have to change our views and our positions according to the situation. The situation demands so. My view when the number of cases were say 5,000 in India is not going to be the same as my view when the number of cases are say 50,000 or 1 lakh in India. So I think it is
Exactly.
very essential to mold ourselves and adjust and adapt to the situation. I think when the number of cases started arising in India, I was dead against online exams or any form of online education, because, as you know, our state was hard hit by Amphan too. So many areas lost connectivity. Many people did not know what they were going to eat the next day or where they were going to stay the next day. So I think at that moment, in that situation, it was very difficult to think about anything else than living and food. So that at that moment I was very much against the notion of having online exams or having online education. But right now, as we can see that we are losing an entire academic year to this pandemic, and there are students, final year students especially, who are dead worried about what their future has in store for them. Under these circumstances, it is very difficult if we go ahead not having any kind of exams, any kind of education, any kind of contact with our academics. So I think the need to find a sort of alternative is the need of the hour.
Okay. And as you told us about Amphan left us devastated in West Bengal and in some parts of Odisha. So, do you have any suggestions for the students of West Bengal, for final year students and school level students?
Yes, exactly, absolutely. That Amphan left us devastated, and many people were rendered homeless, foodless, and even their admit cards, their important documents were washed away. So yes, the thing is that there are many alternative sources of rendering knowledge to the students. For example, I would like to mention something that our own university, the Jadavpur University, has uh, sorted for, which is the radio. The
Yes.
radio is a very powerful source, and now we have all these social media and everything. But when, say, our parents or their parents were young, their only source of knowing the outer world was radio, and it is a universal source of uh, something that each and everyone can obtain with some amount of effort. It's not television, it's not as costly as television, or the problem of network doesn't arise. Radio is available to even the most interior villages and towns of West Bengal and India. So I think it can uh, rise up to be a very important source of communication to the students. Jadavpur University started online classes 3 days a week, 2 hours each, for students of class 9 and 10, and later I think it started for class 5, 6, 7 as well. So I think if the popular radio stations can come forward and host something like this, they can have panelists, they can have eminent teachers, and they can select topics and explain them. I know it is very difficult for the teachers as well as students to not be present in the classroom environment, and there's no alternative to the classroom teaching. But right now the chances of us getting back to the classroom anytime soon is very, very less. So we have no way but to adapt to the situation and meet the demand of the situation. So I think it will be very helpful on part of the students as well as the teachers if something like this, some audio shows can be conducted in eminent radio stations that can benefit students to a huge level.
For those of you who don't know about the Jadavpur University radio station, just tune in to 90.8 on your radio device or on your phone. It's very pocket friendly. You can learn something and achieve something. So my next question is to you that you can see a movement in social media, on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Uh, the movement is about online exams and online classes should be banned. What's your view on it?
I am quite sure that I do not support this movement. I'll
Okay.
state my reasons. The first reason is, as I told you, that I was of the opinion that online exams are not beneficial for students and they should not be held during the first few months of this pandemic and the quarantine. But as we moved forward in time, we saw how the number of cases are rising and how it is difficult for us to get back to classrooms. And under those circumstances, we were out of touch with any form of academics for like 3 to 4 months, and it was mentally wrecking. It was depressing. It was as if I felt that I am unworthy. I do not have a job. I do not have a purpose in life. So I think that drove me to worthlessness and to blankness. But that is the reason I say that. And think about final year students. Think about them. They have their entire lives, their entire career in front of them. They do not know whether they will be appearing for an exam or not. They do not know what they will be studying. Think about their situation, their mental constructs, and They do not know if they will be employed anytime soon or not. Under those circumstances, at least regular classes, at least regular evaluations, and like after proper evaluation, a degree can assure them that yes, they have done something, they are not worthless. I think that is very important for me as well as for all my student fraternity, that we have regular online classes and evaluations. But yes, the mode, the way through it is being conducted is very important here, because as we all might agree that every student does not have adequate measures, adequate facilities, adequate data or Wi-Fi pack and smartphones, etc., to avail online classes every time. So it is very important that we select the modes very wisely. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the discussion, that it is very essential that we involve the stakeholders and engage in regular meetings, discussions, because if it's all very one sided, if the Supreme Court or the state government or the central government or the UGC, the necessary authorities alone decide what is going to be our fate, it becomes very problematic, because the lives are our, it's not theirs. They do not know what we are going through. It's our life, our career, our future. So we must have a voice in it. No, we must have a say in it. They cannot single-handedly decide whether we are going to appear for exams, how we are going to appear for exams. They do not get the right to decide our interests. We alone know what is going to be best for us. So I think it is very
Exactly.
essential to involve the student voice into this entire discussion. I want regular online classes and online evaluations, but at the same time, I am against this autocracy of deciding everything all by themselves.
I agree to you. And as you can see on social media, people are against the online classes and online exams. People are saying that there is no gain, they can't gain anything through online classes, and they don't know how to sit for an online exams. So, what is your suggestion to those students who do not attend online classes just for fun, who do not have proper network coverage?
I think the people who are conducting movements over social media are right to some extent in saying that everyone doesn't have adequate measures, or everyone isn't as digitally comfortable as, say, we the metropolitan kids living in cities with all modern amenities to our fingertips have. And even I would like to say, I am a very technologically challenged person. I do not know what button to click or where to go. But yes, see, the teachers are also adapting to these changes. So I think we should also try our best to do that. Regarding online exams not being of benefit to students, I would beg to disagree, because I myself have been a part of online classes for like 3 months now, and I know that it's probably not the best way of imparting education, but it's also not as bad as they are projecting it to be. I personally would be lost and depressed and in a pool of worthlessness if there were no classes conducted. Because I wake up every morning and I look up to something. I look up to learning something new. No matter how many times the voice of my teacher cracks, no matter how many times I face a problem in typing something, or my voice isn't audible or something, there is a technological problem, there is a network error, the fact still remains that I when I leave the class, I gain something from it. Like it can be very little, but at least that's better compared to not doing anything and feeling unworthy all the time. And regarding online exams, yes, I know it is difficult to maintain that kind of decorum which we regularly maintain in examination halls, but I think assessments can solve the problem. Like
Yes.
I myself have mailed assessments to our professors as they had directed us to. Like we type things in a Word document, or even they are so welcoming. They are okay even with WhatsApp messages. They are okay with us clicking pictures of copies and sending them. They are okay with zooming that picture and reading what we have written. So they are, when they are ready to make such adjustments on their part, why can't we? Exams, as to say that exams that have a specific time schedule that you will have to complete within 2 hours or 1 hour or 3 hours, that is difficult. I understand, due to network issues and everything, but that can be solved by assessments. Say we are given a deadline, and by that time we have to complete something, we have to write something and then submit. That is absolutely fine. A student who does not have proper network connection right now can do it tomorrow or the day after. We are given adequate time to formulate our answers and then send it to the professors. Another thing that can be very beneficial is group discussions. I understand that not everyone has correct, like the right amount of connectivity all the time, so the voices
Mhm.
might break and there might be network issues. But say if we engage in a group discussion over, even if we engage in a group discussion in the chat box, say the teacher asks a question and asks the students to respond. 5 students respond in 5 ways. What is evaluation? What is exam? It is a way for the teacher, it is an equipment for the teacher to understand how far his or her knowledge has been imparted in the students, how far the student has uh, grasp whatever is taught in the class. So a simple question and the answer to it can give the teacher a fair idea how far the student has understood. It is not essential to sit down for a 2 hour 3 hour exam and fix a specified marks and then like take an exam that way. Exams are only evaluations, exams are only proofs to how far we have learned, and there are many alternative ways to understand how far we have learned, how far we have gathered our knowledge from our teachers and professors.
My next question is, do you support the movement that colleges have said to the students about you can take the exams at your home, at your very comfort, and you can also open your textbooks and notebooks while taking the exam? Do you support this movement? What's your viewpoint on this?
Okay, so my view on this is that the answer to your question can't be a simple yes or a simple no, because the answer to this question is very discipline specific. For example, I'm not sure if I am adequately educated to talk about other streams other than mine, but I think that in my discipline, in my major, even if I have 10 books open in front of me, at the end, what I put down on paper, what I write down, is going to be my own creation, my own answer, because our discipline demands not only information, it doesn't demand us memorizing information and us mugging up things, but it sees how we evaluate it ourselves, how we see a particular topic or a particular chapter, how we I know it entirely depends on our viewpoint, how we see it, how we receive it. Another way can be that reducing the time period so that the student doesn't get enough time to scroll through 5 books or 10 Google searches to get the answer of questions. But that is problematic in the sense that some student might not obtain unfair means. Say a student is honest and is writing the exam honestly, but at the same time he or she is facing some technological error or some network issue and is not able to submit the answer script within the stipulated time. So that is a slippery slope.
What about MCQ part?
Yes. So as I already mentioned that either the disciplines need to change their modes of evaluation, the mode of evaluation needs to be changed, or if it is not applicable, I might I'm not sure, but probably MBA or engineering aren't always like our the questions that we receive in our exams might not be applicable to them. In that case, I think an alternative can be one-to-one conversations. For example, Viva one-to-one conversations, but that is a very tedious process.
A very good point.
That will be a tedious process on part of the professors, but I think it will be very effective and without any discrepancies arising, that if the professor is able to conduct one-to-one viva with students where they can immediately answer, if the professor is on call or if the professor is on conversation, it's not possible for the students to scroll pages instantly and find the answers, right? So
Yes.
I think it would be effective if MCQs are if they cannot be replaced by analytical questions. I think this can be a mode. As I said, we need to change and adapt. Had we been under normal circumstances, this was unimaginable for us to even think that our professors are calling us and asking us questions. But right now, if we are to move forward, then we need to resort to these things, because considering 2020 as a 0 year would be a blot on all our careers. So I think, but at the same time, people who are not comfortable, I think there should be options for students who are not comfortable in doing all this or in engaging in such activities, for them to just consider this year as a 0 year in their academic career and then continue in the next year or when situation would be normal. I think people should have that choice to choose whether they want to move forward or they are not in a correct mental or physical or economic condition.
But in this time, the government is not giving us an option to choose, right?
Exactly. That is the problem.
It's a game for them. It's a game for us.
That
whether
is the
you
problem.
Play or whether you die.
Because it is our life. We should have the right to choose. We should have the right to decide what our future would be. And that is the reason I think this show that you're conducting is going to be a phenomenal step in our voice being heard by those out there who refuse to hear it.
Thank you so much. With that, we come to the end of our first episode. Thank you so much, Shomali, for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. It's already time for Durga Puja, right? The time that all of us wait for so eagerly. But it's pandemic now. Well, let's find some answers to that, shall we? But for that, you need to stay tuned with us and with me for the next episode. Until then, like, share, subscribe, and show your support to Anchor Presents What Youth Thinks with Anchor. Thank you so much.